You could practically hear the city of Cleveland inhale, because this isn't just about a rookie quarterback getting his first NFL start. This isn't just about Shedeur Sanders, the 22-year-old phenom out of Colorado, getting thrown into the fire against the Rams. No, this is about a franchise one drenched in decades of disappointment, taking its biggest, boldest, most high-stakes gamble in recent memory. And they're doing it with Joe Flacco still on the roster. So naturally, Browns fans lost their minds. NFL Twitter imploded. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. And somewhere in a dimly lit sports bar in downtown Cleveland, an old man clutched his Bernie Kosar jersey and whispered, "Please don't mess this up." Let's rewind, shall we? Because Shedeur Sanders didn't just stumble into this opportunity. He rocketed into it. From viral college highlights to the full Deion Sanders hype machine backing him, this guy's been treated like a future NFL star since he first picked up a football. And now, that prophecy is being tested under the blinding lights of an NFL debut in a city that's been emotionally waterboarded by quarterback failures since, well, forever. The announcement came like a thunderclap. 1 minute, it's rumors and speculation. Flacco might start. Maybe they'll ease Shedeur in. Who knows? The next? Boom. Stefanski goes full send. Shedeur Sanders is the guy. QB1. First snap. First look. Entire franchise in his hands. It's hard to overstate how big this is for Cleveland. This is a city that's been ghosted by football gods. Baker Mayfield was supposed to be the one. Johnny Manziel? A fever dream no one wants to remember. The quarterback graveyard has been dug deep, and the tombstones are stacked with forgotten names and shattered potential. But Shedeur? Oh, he's different. The moment his name was announced, you could feel the energy shift. The practice facility was flooded with press. Cameras, drones, reporters from networks that don't even cover the Browns were suddenly flying into Ohio like it was a playoff week. Local businesses started changing their signage. Coffee shops offering primetime espresso. Billboards downtown with slogans like, "Shedeur Sunday is coming." Even the betting markets went feral. Sportsbooks updated their odds like they'd seen a prophecy fulfilled. Sanders' future line shot up. Bets came flooding in from across the country. And Cleveland's game against the Rams quietly became one of the most watched lines of the week. Not because the Browns were favored. No. But because everyone wants to see what Shedeur does with the weight of an entire football city on his back. And let's not pretend the NFL isn't secretly drooling over this. A Sanders in the league? That's not just ratings. That's brand synergy. Because here's the other layer to this whole circus. Shedeur isn't just any rookie QB. He's the son of Deion Sanders. Yes, that Deion, the Hall of Famer, college coach, sunglasses mogul, and certified walking headline. That's not a shadow. That's a solar eclipse. And yet, Shedeur's carved out his own identity. The calm to his dad's chaos. Precision instead of pizzazz. But the expectations? Absolutely nuclear. So what does Cleveland do with this shiny, high-pressure golden egg of a quarterback? They go all in. Reports say the Browns have basically thrown the playbook at Shedeur. Custom packages. Isolated film sessions. Coaching staff available 24/7. Even the nutritionist is reportedly on standby for him. Ownership is desperate to make this work. Because this isn't just a football decision. It's a commercial bet, a brand identity, a Hail Mary for a city that needs something, anything, to believe in again. And the funniest part? Joe Flacco is still right there. He's not injured. He's not retired. He's not even particularly bad. He's just watching. Joe Flacco, the seasoned vet Super Bowl MVP and walking embodiment of quarterback competence, has been relegated to background NPC status in what is quickly becoming the Shedeur Sanders show. You almost expect him to lean into frame with a coffee and go, "Hey, am I still needed here?" The Browns answer? "Not right now, Joe. We're building a legend." But here's the thing. For all the hype, for all the promo reels and social media fanfare, this is still football. And Shedeur? He's still a rookie. This Rams defense is not here to welcome him with open arms. Aaron Donald isn't going to take it easy just because there's a cool story unfolding on the other side of the line. This isn't a Netflix special. It's the NFL, and there's a real chance, however uncomfortable it might be to admit, that this could go very, very wrong. Because let's be real, what happens if Shedeur throws 2 picks in the first quarter? What if the pocket collapses, and he takes 3 sacks by halftime? Are the fans still cheering? Is the media still rolling out future the franchise puff pieces? Or do we get the immediate pivot into maybe he wasn't ready? And what about Stefanski? This man is coaching like his job depends on it. Because, spoiler, it does. Ownership made this move with intense pressure from above. The front office reportedly fast-tracked the decision, leaning on Stefanski to take the risk. So if this backfires, if Shedeur flames out in spectacular fashion against the Rams, we might be looking at 2 careers imploding in one game. And don't get it twisted. The Rams are circling this game like a shark spotting a wounded seal. They know the hype, they know the stakes, and they love nothing more than wrecking a fairy tale. McVay has probably been cooking up exotic blitzes and coverage schemes like he's prepping for the Super Bowl. Because if they embarrass Shedeur Sanders in his debut, that's a statement win. Not just on the scoreboard, but in the narrative war. But hey, let's zoom out. Because this isn't just about one game. It's about what Shedeur represents. The intersection of legacy, fame, and football, a marketing dream wrapped in shoulder pads. Brands are already circling like vultures. Or, well, like very polite, money-hungry vultures with endorsement deals. Shedeur's jersey is flying off shelves. Local businesses are planning watch parties. Even international companies have reached out to the Browns, trying to find ways to get involved. It's absurd, and yet kind of amazing. Cleveland, for once, is the center of the football universe. Not because of a scandal, not because of some front office meltdown, but because Hope walked onto the field wearing number 5. And that hope comes with $1 million smile, a pristine arm, and the heaviest expectations a city has ever placed on a rookie. Now, whether or not Shedeur delivers is still up in the air, but the stakes? Oh, they're set. This game could either kick off a new era in Cleveland football or become yet another tragic chapter in the never-ending saga of what could have been. So grab your popcorn, say a little prayer for Flacco, and buckle up, because Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing a football game. He's playing for the soul of a city. And if that's not dramatic enough for you, just wait until the second quarter. Oh, you thought it ended there? Not even close. Because as game day creeps closer, the atmosphere in Cleveland doesn't just feel electric. It feels radioactive. Every press conference, every tweet, every slow-motion training clip, with Shedeur in his custom orange and brown compression sleeves, is getting dissected like it's a State of the Union address. And somewhere behind it all, you've got Dillon losing his absolute mind. Who's Dillon, you ask? He's every fan who's ever dared to dream too big too fast. He's pacing his living room in a Nick Chubb jersey 2 sizes too tight, muttering about third down conversions like a man possessed. He's yelling on sports radio, tweeting conspiracy threads about the offensive line, and rewatching Shedeur's college tape at 2 a.m. like he's on the Browns scouting payroll. Dillon is Cleveland right now. Nervous, hopeful, skeptical, and totally unhinged. And honestly, who can blame him? This isn't just another quarterback switch. This is a total culture reset, a narrative nuke, a rebranding of what it means to wear that helmet. The franchise is basically speedrunning an identity makeover, and Shedeur's the face on the billboard. And speaking of billboards, you're not ready for the marketing overdrive happening behind the scenes. Downtown Cleveland looks like it was taken over by a streetwear startup. Shedeur's face is everywhere. There's a pop-up merch truck near the stadium selling Prime Legacy hoodies, complete with a Sanders family crest. A family crest, like this is Game of Thrones. Even Nike's reportedly fast-tracked a custom cleat drop, something symbolic and inspired by Dion's legacy but forged by Shedeur's own path, which basically means they're gold-trimmed and $400. And it's working. People are buying into this kid not just as a player, but as a story. The underdog prodigy stepping out of Hall of Fame shadow and walking straight into the fire. It's practically mythological. Like if Achilles had a sponsorship deal with Gatorade and a weekly segment on NFL Network. But let's not get it twisted. Shedeur's no underdog in terms of attention. He's been under the spotlight since he threw his first high school touchdown. His entire college run played out like a documentary in real time. The sideline interviews, the sunglasses, the press conferences where he'd low-key call out doubters with a smirk and a stat sheet. He's been media trained since birth, and you feel that polish now. And yet, it's that calmness that's got everyone buzzing. Because while the city spirals into emotional whiplash, Shedeur is just chilling. At the podium, cool as a cucumber. In practice, laser-focused. There are no meltdowns, no panic tweets, no cryptic Instagram stories about God's timing. Just quiet confidence and a grin that says, yeah, I see the pressure, and I already downloaded the Blitz package. Which brings us back to the Rams. And oh boy, are they ready to crash this party. Their defense isn't flashy this season, but it's mean. And more importantly, it smells blood. You think they haven't circled this game in Sharpa? You think Aaron Donald hasn't already visualized his first sack on Shedeur? This isn't just football, it's a hazing ritual. A full-on rookie initiation, courtesy of a defense with absolutely zero chill. But here's where it gets even messier. Because if Shedeur stumbles, if this goes sideways, there's no clean way out, no backup plan, no veteran to step in and right the ship. Flacco's not the savior. He's the safety net. And once you let go of the net, you fall. And when that fall happens in Cleveland, it's not just a thud, it's a collapse. Just ask the 27 other quarterbacks who've tried. And don't even get me started on the Stefanski situation. That man is coaching like he's on a game show called Contract or Unemployment. He's tied his career to Shedeur's success like it's a trust fall at corporate team building. And the higher-ups? They're watching. The Haslams didn't greenlight this because they're feeling whimsical. This is a calculated risk, disguised as hope. The kind of gamble you make when the walls are closing in and you've got nothing to lose, except, everything. But here's where it gets cinematic. Because as chaotic as all this is, there's still a world where it works, where Shedeur walks onto that field, plants his feet, and throws darts, where he reads a defense like it's printed in Comic Sans, where the O-line holds just long enough for him to unleash a 50-yard bomb that silences every skeptic in the building. And when that happens, the stadium erupts, the dog pound howls, the fans cry, the cameras cut to Flacco nodding solemnly like a proud older brother in a sports movie. It becomes legend, and even if it doesn't go perfectly, there's something undeniably powerful about what's happening here, something almost poetic. Because for once, Cleveland isn't reacting to failure. It's betting on potential. And potential? That's the scariest, most exciting thing in sports. It's not polished. It's not guaranteed. It's not safe. But it's electric. And in a league where mediocrity feels like a life sentence, the Browns are finally trying something that feels new. Will it work? Who knows? Will it crash and burn? Maybe. But will it be boring? Absolutely not. Because this isn't just Shedeur's story, it's Cleveland's. And the chapters being written this week are some of the most dramatic, unpredictable, and emotionally chaotic in recent memory. So pour yourself a drink, pull up your fantasy app, and mute every group chat with a Rams fan in it. Because the Shedeur-Sanders era is officially here. And ready or not, it's prime time. It's Saturday night. The stadium is buzzing like a speaker turned all the way up, but still crackling. The crowd? Restless, not hostile, but hanging on that edge where hope turns into panic if one thing goes wrong. Fans in orange and brown jerseys are packing the stands, their faces painted with a mix of optimism and generational trauma. Every beer vendor, every camera guy, every vendor slinging hot dogs, locked in, because tonight isn't just a game. It's a reckoning. And in the tunnel, there's Shedeur-Sanders, pacing. Not cocky, not jittery, just dialed in. You can tell this moment's been living in his head for years. Not just since he got drafted, not just since training camp, but since he was throwing backyard spirals while Dion stood on the porch saying, "You gotta want it more than them." Well, now he's here, and they definitely want it. The Rams come out first. Business as usual. Cool, collected, deadly. They're not here for the drama. They're here to break the script, to play spoiler, to turn this primetime baptism into a reminder that the NFL does not care about your storyline. Then it happens. Shedeur jogs out the field. The crowd erupts, like screaming at the top of your lungs after Formosa's energy. The camera zooms in. He give a little nod, that slight jaw clench. You know the one. I hear the noise, but I'm not listening. Look. The kind of expression that makes brand execs want to bottle it and slap it on a Gatorade commercial. And then, first snap. This is it. The moment every marketing exec, fantasy football nerd, and die-hard Browns fan has been waiting for. The culmination of weeks of rumors, practice footage breakdowns, and hot takes shouted in parking lots. Shedeur lines up. The Rams shift into a nickel. The crowd goes silent. And in a heartbeat, it begins. Now listen, his first few plays, not perfect. He takes a sack early. Nearly throws a pick on second and long. Twitter, sorry, X, or whatever we're calling it now, lights up with panic. Too fast for him. He's not ready. Put Flacco in. But then something shifts. 3rd and 8. He reads the blitz, steps up, and rips a missile right over the middle. Perfect placement. First down. Stadium loses its mind. You can feel the momentum turning, like the entire city just exhaled for the first time in a decade. And from that point on, it's like watching someone wake up inside a dream. The footwork gets sharper. The throws quicker. He's managing the pocket like a vet, hitting his checkdowns, calling audibles, commanding the field. Not flashy, not over the top. Just efficient, cool, and weirdly composed for a guy who was playing college ball 8 months ago. Meanwhile, up in the luxury suite, ownership is sitting there with their eyes glued to the field. No snacks, no smiles, just that tight-lipped look billionaires get when their sports investments are finally paying off, or about to blow up on live TV. The Haslams are staring down at the turf like it's the stock market, and across from them, someone from Adidas, someone from Hulu, someone who definitely doesn't care about football but knows brand heat when they see it. And Shedeur, he just keeps delivering. By the second quarter, he's put up 150 yards and a touchdown. Nothing crazy, but enough to start a real conversation. Enough to make the Rams defense start playing him like an actual problem, instead of a rookie with a famous dad. Meanwhile, let's not forget about Flacco. Poor Joe's on the sidelines, wearing a headset and a half smile that says, I'm happy for him, but also I'm definitely texting my agent after this. The cameras keep cutting to him like it's some kind of Greek chorus. Every time Shedeur makes a throw, Flacco's reaction gets memed within seconds. Hashtag FlaccoWatch is trending, and the poor guy's not even doing anything but drinking Gatorade. Now, if this were a movie, the Browns would cruise to victory. Shedeur would walk off into the tunnel with fireworks behind him, and the city of Cleveland would start planning a parade. But this is the NFL. And the third quarter is where dreams go to die. Cue the turnover. A tip pass at the line. Ball floats. Rams interception. The stadium groans like someone just stubbed the collective toe of Cleveland. And the Rams, they capitalize. Fast. 2 plays later, they're in the end zone. Just like that, it's a tie game. The momentum, the magic, starts to fray. And this is the moment. Not the touchdown, not the intro. This is a test. How do you respond when the story flips? And Shedeur, he does what rookies aren't supposed to do. He answers, not with a highlight reel, not with some hero ball play that ends in disaster, but with grit, grinding out a 12-play drive, taking the hits, running when he needs to, checking it down when it's the smarter move, managing the clock like he's playing Madden on expert mode. And then on 2nd and goal, boom, slant route, touchdown. The crowd detonates. The announcers are screaming. The camera shakes. Stefanski is hugging his headset like it just saved his marriage. And Shedeur, still that same calm stare. That I told you all energy. It's not arrogance. It's assurance. Like he already saw this all play out in his head. And now he's just letting the rest of us catch up. And listen, it's not a perfect game. The Rams come back again. There's a blown coverage, a missed field goal. It gets dicey, nerve-wracking, overtime feeling chaos. But somehow, Shedeur pulls it off. The Browns win, 27-24. By a hair, by a miracle, by sheer rookie composure wrapped in legendary DNA. And when it ends, when the confetti cannons don't go off but the fans are crying anyway, you realize this wasn't just a debut. It was a declaration. This kid isn't just here to survive. He's here to rewrite the script, to yank the Browns out of quarterback purgatory and into something that almost feels like hope. Real hope, not preseason optimism or next year's our year delusion. Now, post-game interviews roll in. Shedeur give the standard, it's a team effort lines. Shouts out the O-line. Daps up Flacco. But you can see it. The spark. The thing that's not taught, not coached. The it factor. And Twitter? Oh, it's melting. Shedeur's that dude. Cleveland's finally got one. The Deion Sanders cinematic universe is undefeated. You'd think he just solved the city's water crisis, the way people are reacting. And back in that suite, you just know the deals are already being drawn up. More endorsements, a docu-series, talk show invites. Every brand that passed on him 6 months ago, regret, full-blown regret. And Dillon? Oh, Dillon is sobbing in his living room. He's texting his dad, re-watching highlights on loop, screaming, "We're back," like the Browns and just win one regular season game by a field goal. He's already booked his hotel for the Super Bowl. The hope is unhinged, and it's beautiful, because that's what Shedeur did. He didn't just win a game. He made Cleveland believe again. And yeah, there's a long road ahead. There will be losses, bad games, growing pains. But for the first time in forever, the Browns aren't chasing the future. They're living in it.